Holy Men's On. Hello and welcome to Holy Men's online series with Mastermind Connect, which is a virtual circle led by Omar Davis using the tools of alchemy to find inner wisdom and build brotherhood. Holy Men is a space for men to come and talk about the real shit: life, work, relationships, family issues, or anything on your heart. In this space, we will open up the conversation to understand our perception, divine balance, our mind, our miracle body, inner wisdom, and the formations of sacred geometry. Welcome, Holy Men. Welcome all once again to another session, episode 2 of the second series and session of Holy Men, and we're going to be talking about why you are worthy. So, before we get into it, I just wanted to give thanks to everyone who is coming into the room. We'll allow a couple of seconds so that we can have the room just populate for all of you that are joining us. Just to give you some preference, what today is about. We are going to be interacting with people live on the chat, in the comments, and we are allowing people to come on to be a part of the conversation with us, to be present. Cynthia, blessings to you as well. And so we really want you guys to be engaged, mostly because we have the idea that it'd be kind of cool if instead of bringing people on that we already are familiar with and we have conversations like this all the time with, why not engage with the audience and have the audience come on screen, which means you got to get your hair did, but have the audience come on screen so that we can actually start building in that way with community and just learning what people are going through, what's going on with you. The topic of today is a little deep. It possibly will touch on some stuff that makes us feel uncomfortable, but kind of the last conversation was like that. If you guys didn't watch the last episode, then check it out on the Mastermind YouTube page. We talk about the stuff that really shapes our reality, which is like the alpha male. That's what we brought up, and how the person who actually wrote the book came out and said, I was wrong. Didn't have enough evidence. So we have this whole construct that we've built in society about this alpha male concept when it's not even something that's real. So therefore, it could make people feel uncomfortable. Why? Because their whole life may have been built on this concept of being the alpha. And there's nothing wrong with the alpha. We actually regurgitated and talked about why it's actually a positive thing in ways that you can carry the traits of an alpha, but it also had a lot to do with emotional intelligence and understanding yourself. Not only that, empathy and compassion. So you had to use these traits of empathy and compassion in order to be the leader, in order to run shit. So it really turns the way we see things into something that's a little different. Now, getting into today, why we are worthy. See, I've been thinking about this concept for quite some time. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. But I've been thinking about this concept for quite some time. And the concept was not easy for me to understand because, a lot of times we want to punish ourselves. Our ego is really good at punishing ourselves for the things that are in our lives, right? Or the things that we've been through. And I was trying to understand this concept. And I've been asking this question for quite some time. I think I was around the age of 19 when I first started thinking about this question, which was, but if I'm unworthy and I'm a sinner, then how am I in the image of the Creator? Or how am I in the image of Spirit? God. And if you can't tell, I was raised in a religious context, and you don't have to understand religion to even be a part of this conversation. I'm just giving you my experience. But in this sense, I was asking, what is this about? Why am I a sinner? Why am I unworthy and deemed imperfect, but yet I'm in the image of the Creator? Didn't work with me. So I meditated on it and I questioned for a really long time. And it wasn't until I actually learned about the human body. I learned about how we're built. I learned about the different mechanisms within us. I even learned about the fact that if you go small if you go really small and really tiny, that it's a whole nother universe at every level you go to. And then whenever you get to the atoms and to the DNA, or the DNA and then the atoms, when you go into that, it's a whole nother universe once again. And if it's a code of atoms that make up my DNA, and then I go into those atoms, there's nothing wrong with the atom. There's nothing bad about the atom. You don't look at the thymine code or the guanine code or the cytosine or the adenine. You don't look at these codes and you don't say that they're bad. You don't look at the hydrogen atom and be like, oh, I don't know about you, atom, you're a sinner. You don't do that. But yet our whole body is made up of these atoms that are perfect, balanced, complete, because they are in the image of the Creator. Meaning that they are shapes, vibrations, electricity, consciousness, thought, perception. They're all these things. They're everything. So how am I a sinner or not worthy if my entire being is made up of things that are absolutely perfect? I just want to ask you guys that. How is that? I'm curious to know. And the reason that I wanted to talk about why you are worthy is because you are. And if we had the mindset that we are worthy and we woke up every day and walked into the world every day, if everyone, or at least the majority of us, did this for 5 years, going into 10 years, we'd have a different world just by us taking the steps. So with that said, we do have someone that we're going to be bringing on. I'm not sure if they are ready and prepped. I'm going to check in really quick in the chat and see how that is going. And yeah, this is going to be a new experience for us. So bear with us while we try to get all the logistics together. But what it comes down to, see, boom, they have it all together. I don't even know what's going on. So my bad. My brother Omari, how are you, brother? How are you?
Brother, what's going on? I am well. I am very, very well. How are you?
I'm very good, man. I'm very good. It's been a busy time, but like I like to do is stay focused on task and just keep my progress, right? But also taking breaks. I've been taking a lot of breaks.
To be honest.
Yeah, right. I'm feeling that pendant you got there, brother. I like that. It's kind of
appreciate you.
Yeah, you rocking it all day. I love that.
Man. This is from the homie Buddha. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The homie Buddha.
Funny story.
Yeah.
Funny story. I got something coming in from Buddha, and
that's the homie, man.
Yeah, the mailman and the address, and it was kind of my fault, but yet the mailman's fault, and then it's like, so I'm waiting, and I've been waiting because I'm like, damn, I want to have that shit on screen. But with that said, man, I appreciate you taking the time out for joining us. Once again, as we were just describing to everyone, this is something new, so that we bring all the guests, the people that are a part of the show, so that we can all be in communion. And really just build community that way, and try to do something new. Everybody's doing the same thing, so why not switch it up? But going to it, I'm not sure why you were trying to come into the room, that you were able to catch some of the words that I was speaking. But
yeah,
I was talking about the concept of why we are worthy, and then in the concepts of religion and different spiritualities, we have this thing where it's like, you're a sinner or you're not worthy because, you're human or whatever. But as I just broke it down, when you go into the DNA and whenever you go into your body, you see it's perfect and you see it's amazing. And then when you go into the atoms, they're perfect too. Like, you don't look at an atom and be like, you're a sinner, you hydrogen atom. You're wrong for being a hydrogen atom. You need to pay with your life to make up the fact that you're a hydrogen atom. And I'm like, so if we're made up of all these atoms, how is it that we're sinners or imperfect or unworthy? And so my question to you would be, for one, have you even considered this concept?
Yeah.
And for two, how does it make you feel to even question it?
Right. So I'm gonna be honest, man. I've never considered this. This is the first time that I'm considering this concept. Like
Smart, smart.
I've never even like this haven't been broken down to me. Even like in my science class, this has not been broken down to me. Throughout high school, throughout junior high school, college, never been broken
Word.
down. So this is a learning experience for me as well as understanding. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, I definitely want to get more clarity as in what it is that you mean by that for me.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, it just really comes down to that simple fact that we have these concepts like of the whole being, right? The whole you.
Mm-hmm.
Something's wrong with the whole you, but there's nothing wrong with the macro you.
Got you.
There's nothing wrong with the tiniest parts of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, with that said, if the tiniest parts of you are absolutely perfect and in balance, then how is the whole you out of balance?
Got you. So
And so, go ahead, go ahead.
so now you put that into perspective. If the smallest things about you, let's say for me, the smallest thing that I was worried about was, this from years back, being small, being short. That's the smallest thing that I've been worried
Yeah.
about. I have grown a lot to make that into a bigger situation. To be like, all
Mm,
right, you know what?
mm.
I'm accepting of the fact that I'm short. I'm accepting of the fact that I'm able to do what regular people do or what a tall person
Yeah, right.
does, regardless. You know what I mean? So I've been able to come to a sense of understanding with myself. I'm like, look, I'm gonna still live my life. I still have to live my life. So regardless of what it
Yeah,
is, small or tall, um, I'm gonna keep on doing me. Big things regardless.
exactly.
And I still do big things
Exactly.
regardless.
Yeah,
But
exactly,
now
exactly.
that small thing became big, right? Now the
Yeah.
big thing where my heart is huge. I give so
Yeah.
much love. I
Yeah,
kept
yeah.
feeling I kept feeling drained. You know what I'm saying? And do I still feel that way sometimes? Yes. It's at a scale, to be honest.
Yeah,
Um
yeah, yeah.
at one point I'm just like, man, I'm giving so much love here. And
Yeah.
am I bringing it to myself? You know what I'm saying? At the
Mm-hmm.
other side, I'm like, the love that I'm giving is being received back to me at some point. From other people who tell me like, Amari, I appreciate you because of
Yeah,
X, Y, and
exactly.
Z. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm in a scale. You know what I'm saying? Um, Now, what I'm worried about more so is being so drained in if of loving more of me, loving who I am, and
Mm-hmm.
accepting more of who I am in this loving state. You know,
Yes. Yeah, man.
so
But I think that
that's where I've
you,
been at.
yeah, yeah. And even by you saying that, I think that that concept of loving yourself more
Hmm.
is also becoming more aligned with the perfect parts of yourself, with those smaller parts that make up who you are. Because love and you having a big heart, that's something that can change worlds.
Right.
Literally, like you can impact two people, and then they go off and like do something to change the whole world. Like you never know.
Right.
But the point
Right.
is, yeah, right. It's like Nikola Tesla don't know it, but he influenced my life in the ways, the greatest of them ways. He changed everything that I thought I knew about everything. And I was
Yeah.
like, this dude's doing this at when? What year? Oh, y'all need to catch up. What's happening? And
Right.
so,
Right.
but going back to the question of worthy, right?
Hmm.
I'm curious to know, how do you reflect that? Like, let's say that right now, knowing what we've known about our society, how even people look at us, right? The picture that they paint for us. We've been giving all these concepts and been fed all this bullshit through multiple layers of trauma, right?
Right.
And so whenever it comes down to it, it's easy to see how we as people have a hard time loving ourselves and understanding how it's so easy to believe that we ain't shit and that we sinners and that we're imperfect. but yet you still created in the image of God, homie. Like, and I'm like,
Absolutely, absolutely,
wait,
absolutely.
how is it that I'm so perfect in God? Because you said I'm creating the image of God, and God is absolutely perfect, and I'm never saying it's connected to everything. So that's me, right? But
Right,
suddenly I ain't shit. Like,
right. And
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 so
and it's
go ahead.
so it's funny that you say that like all of a sudden I ain't shit. You ain't shit when no one, when you're not of use of the person.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like you ain't shit when you don't have something to give to that person at the moment, and you let them know, hey, hold on, uh,
Yeah.
I don't have this at this moment. I will probably have it when you know the next day or the following day,
Yeah.
because I'm tapping into the sources that I know to help you out. But if I don't have it at that point in time right now when you need it at the most, I don't. I'm not shit.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with worthy now, I break down worthy as my character. What is my character? Worthiness has to do
Mm-hmm.
with character for me. So and so many characteristics that I have, for to name for example, loving, honest, um, loyal. You know, those is what I bring down as characteristic as worthiness to me,
Yeah.
because
Facts.
the same energy that I bring out to someone that I'm invested in, the expectation is not there for me as far as them. Like I would want the same for me, with the next person,
Yeah.
but it's not needed for me to be honest. Because I will give it to myself now.
Yes.
You get what I mean? So
Yes.
for me, it's like worthiness. I don't have to look for the next person for me to feel worthy, for me to be worthy. If I've already done the job and I've done the work, the self work to see that I'm worthy and to know that I'm worthy, to feel that I'm worthy, why do I need this next person for validation? You get what I mean?
Exactly.
So, um,
Exactly.
you know, for me, worthiness is more into yourself, the
Yeah.
the the energy you bring to yourself. And when you bring that energy forth to everyone else that's around you, regardless if they receive it or not, it's gonna be transpired regardless to someone
Yeah.
whether they take it or not. But
Exactly.
the worthiness come back when it's just like somebody can come back and tell you, "I see what you mean." You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna scold you. I'm not gonna scold you. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like I told your ass. You know what I mean?
I
you know,
mean, you may just be able to go.
Yeah, exactly. That's a
That's it.
a subtle. I told your
Yeah.
ass. you
Exactly.
know, but
That's that
yeah,
old
man.
school.
And I think my question is to you, if I could, ask a question. Um, can your worthiness change over time?
No, you're always worthy.
Mm.
There's no degree of worthy. And that's the illusion that we've kind of been in with our society is we're under the illusion that we're weak. We're under the illusion that we are incapable. We're under the illusion that we are um yeah, we are not a part of this,
Right.
And so we're also under the illusion that we are not a part of nature. So, for instance, we're animals. We're built from the same things the stars are made from. We have the same particles and chemicals that the dirt has. We literally cannot live without breathing in the trees. Um, but and then the things we exhale, the trees breathe in. So it's like we're doing back and forth, and we need each
Yeah.
other to keep that going.
Right.
And so we have these illusions that have been painted that we are not these things, and then that causes really a lot of psychological issues in our ego because then therefore we start to act this way. It's like a
Yeah.
5-year-old child. Just like give a motherfucker a firecracker and go let him run around.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh,
Exactly.
okay, that's what we're doing. And then, give other people firecrackers and they're afraid of firecrackers, but they still holding that shit. Like what?
Mm-hmm.
But and so with that said, it really comes down to the concepts that you are never not unworthy or there's no degree of worthy because you're made from the same atoms that the sun is made for. And do you question the sun's worthiness? You do not.
No.
You don't wake up and be like, the sun ain't worthy today. He ain't getting my motherfucking. You don't give me no heat. I'm like, all your heat, son. I don't
Yeah,
need
no.
your heat today.
No. You
It's
can't.
like, come on now. Come
Like,
on now. So, but one really quickly, we do have some folks in the room. We got Darnell. I think Darnell is
hey,
going to be coming on. He's being DM'd the link.
yes,
We got
sir.
Oshim out in the crowd. We got Alden.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen, for being a part, just to name a few. And I'm curious to know if you have time, then you can by all means stay on because I looked in the back end chat. Was the
Yeah.
question, to bring both of you on, but I say we can try it and see what the conversation jumps into if you have time. But if you do
Yeah.
not, by all means, my brother, you gotta
Yes, sir.
go. You
Yeah,
gotta go.
yeah. Definitely gotta go. But I definitely do appreciate that, man. I definitely
Yes, man.
appreciate you having me on, and talking about
Thank
this.
you for supporting.
It's something new that I've never even thought to have that type of mindset on. Like, am I the atom that is worthy? You get what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
and that's amazing thing because it all comes down to who you really are as the person that you are growing into, but sustaining your worthiness, your character,
Yeah.
your very true essence of who you are, of what you
Yes, man.
are about. So
Yes, brother.
I appreciate you, man. I definitely do.
Likewise, man. I'm glad that you were able to take it in. And until next time, my brother, be
Yes,
well,
sir.
enjoy your day, and I will speak soon.
Definitely. You as well, my brother. Thank you.
All right, my holy man. So that was awesome. That was kind of fun. I liked it. We do have Darnell. He is being sent the details, but just to recap, it's really about those concepts. And I'm not saying that anything that you may believe as far as your spiritual preference or your religious preference, that it's wrong or bad. I'm just saying that it's also understanding how to, like, where did it come from? Gaining the knowledge of like all the books, researching all the scripts and all the scribes. Like whenever I was deep into Christianity or into whatever religion I studied, I literally broke it down. I took it as like a blanket and I learned all about it. I dissected it. Whenever I started learning about Hinduism, I broke it down. I learned all about it. I dissected it. Whenever I started even looking into the Quran, like it's all the same. All of them are the same. The concepts and the beings and the people that they speak of, the names change, but the base is the same. And the base is there's one creator. This creator is absolutely perfect. You are in the likeness of that creator. And from this concept of the creator, whatever picture you want to paint with it is fine. And from there, you literally just understand that you are perfect in the image of the creator because there's more to you, just like there's more to the creator than we've been taught. It's just what it is. But with that said, Darnell is all ready. Fred, my brother.
What up, what up, what up? How you
That's
feel?
good. I'm feeling good. How about yourself? I'm loving that background, man.
I'm blessed today. Let me get this little tilted back for you. But you had said something, and that was it. I had to get on here only because you said something, and I never you hit it. 1 second. You hit it. You said at 19. I wasn't even thinking like this at 19. Not at all. Like when I say not at all, like I was too busy trying to hustle and figure out how I was gonna make it. So this kind of mindset, it was like it wasn't even in my vocabulary to think like this.
Yeah.
So I said all that to say in the middle of the pandemic, it was a point for a moment where I was completely busy, but then I had a moment where I didn't have anything to do, and I was forced to take long walks. And in moments where I didn't have nothing to do, I think, and this is where I really got into the conversation. I kind of questioned my manhood because I felt like because I wasn't producing, I wasn't worthy. So that was like one of the deepest questions that I had ever thought about. And I'm like, bro, what? Hold on.
Word.
What is
word.
Thinking about, right? So when that became my reality, I ended up I ran across it weird because there was a sign up on the street, and it's something about worthiness, and it caused me to stop in the middle of my walk and think about myself as a kid, the therapy method, myself as a kid looking out of the front window. Who was I, or looking into the front window? Who was that kid?
Yeah.
And when I did that research, I was like, wow, people love me when I didn't even put out nothing, or when I didn't even know what my gift was. I've been worthy. Yeah. I've been worthy. So when you said what you said about the atoms are all the same, it's literally a mental stimulation that causes you to like have this doubt and have this worry and have these levels of imbalance, thoughts.
Yeah.
Nothing in your body has changed. Your worthiness is still there, but it's literally that that level of just tapping in that you really have to do in those moments to transcend what our body kind of really feels and takes us to another level, to what the spirit is really all about.
Exactly. Yeah. And what you said, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, everything you said, and even telling that story of how you came to that moment, I was feeling it. You know, being all empathic and stuff. I'm like, oh, I can feel it. I can even feel the weather. The weather was nice.
It was nice. It was beautiful. It was weird. It was a pandemic, but it was a time when you had no time. You had no other opportunity but to think. You know what I mean? In a pandemic, nobody had the opportunity to do nothing but think.
Exactly.
That, I really. Bro, I got caught thinking. I was like, bro, I ain't never thought about some of these things. Like, hold on, what's going on here?
Yeah. So. But that's kind of the thing that really happened with this whole pandemic. It actually got people to stop and pause and start to internally dialogue, which is what the world does not want us to do, right? They don't want us to be like, I kind of don't want to take your bullshit no more. Right? They're not trying to hear that shit. Not at all. And so having the space to just be.
Here we go.
There it is.
There we go.
There it is. And you know what? It is all good, man. I understand completely. Like we got all types of things happening with all this technology around us. I got mine right here. We got the thing over there. So I get it. But for one, I do appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you opening up vulnerability with the group, the crowd, because that's really what it comes down to. For us to just be able to just like talk about, understand, have space to, express what we've been going through. Because right now, let's just not even front. The world is fucking on fire. There's all types of crazy shit happening. And the only thing that we really can do is just try to maintain our own inner peace and our own inner protecting ourselves for our emotions too, right? My emotions are precious right now, man. I was so on it during the whole pandemic that I watch a freaking kids movie or a dog on the TV and just like, oh man, this dog is just so beautiful. Like I'm like, yo, Omar, get it together. What is going on?
Thing I thought about was like, dog, I know now how. I mean, I just turned 31. You kind of lose it after you really care. But I just turned 31 in October, so this year will be my 32nd. But you start to like, damn, I don't want to say I lost my train of thought, but I kind of did, talking about age. God damn it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I guess I haven't really worried about stuff the way I used to. But in this time, in this pandemic, like, man, I swear, like I just the messages that you've been kind of putting out has kind of made me think in a different way. And I think that a lot more men really do need to like think this way. And it's been a conversation that me and one of my great friends have a lot, but you know, it's weird because you end up losing friends talking about stuff like this consistently. So
yes, that is true.
For you kind of staying on it and being consistent. I did want to mention that while I lost my train of thought, but you know, it is what it is. Damn.
But no, it's all good. It is all good. I just wanted to not only just give you some shout outs and give you some praise, because you know it takes gumption for one to not only to stand up for what you're feeling, right? And then having conversations with other men. And yes, you may lose friends, but don't get me wrong, they will come back because eventually they're gonna hit that point where they was like, yo, homie, you was right. Like, I need to talk to a motherfucker. Like, I ain't okay. And so it's all reciprocal. But the whole point is that you're also an example of what we are growing to be, right? Us as men, we're redefining this whole category. It don't matter what your sex, creed, color, religion, practice, choice, don't matter what that is. If you are living in the concept of manhood, then you are literally undefinable. You're undefinable.
Yeah.
Yes, there are certain properties and characteristics that come with manhood. Yes, just because it's in our nature as animals. But that's biology shit. That has nothing to do with our fucking choices, right? Yeah. And so what it comes down to, go ahead.
Was that you that shared something recently that said, you know, women have a sisterhood, brothers should have brotherhood or something like that? If that wasn't you, I really think,
I don't know, but go ahead.
I think that's like what I'm seeing that you're creating is a sense of brotherhood, the way women can be confident and comfortable with having conversations that aren't surface level with their friends and people around them. And I think that's the kind of conversation that I've been seeing from you consistently.
Yeah.
Every time, like I'm just like, it's kind of weird to even be there. I've never met you, but from the moment I connected with you, like your energy was just like, that's my brother right there.
Yeah,
you know,
facts. And you know, that's how I see humans, man. I'm trying to redefine my lens too.
Yeah.
And that's actually, you know, with that point, that was my thing. That was the thing that got me to really understand is like once I was able to comprehend that there's nothing wrong with me, that I'm perfect, I'm in the image of the creator. No, the creator doesn't mean that the creator is human, but me going through the education of the human body and knowing the science and all this universal stuff, it just simply says that from the most smallest parts of ourselves, we are literally made in the image of the creator.
Oh, God.
And so if that's the case, then I cannot be fucking wrong. I cannot be a sinner. I cannot be, because you say God is the most amazing, loving presence and it can do anything and you can't tell it shit because it's God. And
on that's where it's at right there in that pocket right there. Like I said, God, if I was created in the image of God, even my sin that you say is not acceptable in the world is God's great gift. Like, and I mean, in all kinds of ways. And I say that because I'm looking back at my life. I'm literally turning 32 this year. I'm looking back at my life like, wow, look at the conversation that I'm having with myself. Like, damn, I'm like, who is that? Like, so I definitely get what you're saying. Like, and I'm accepting that everything that was wrong was on purpose for a reason. Like, it literally was on purpose to get me here. If I had not learned those things then, made those mistakes, had those low-level thoughts, I would not be right here today in this frequency to be able to receive 100% what he's given us.
That is true. That is absolutely true. And you said it. It's just all a bunch of lessons. And I want people to understand, and the reason that I wanted to really bring up the concept of why you're worthy is because I want people to understand that you don't have to try to like let the ego go, right? If you try to think you're worthy from the standpoint of the ego, you're going to be completely unworthy because the ego is a mind.
I want to receive it. Say that again.
Yeah, if you try to understand worthiness through the lens of the ego, You're not going to ever see yourself as worthy.
The macho, if you try to understand being worthy in the macho sense, I'm sorry, I just got to break it down in my mind.
Yeah, I feel you. And then if you try to do that, you're always going to see yourself as unworthy because you're judgmental. You pointing out all the bad shit. You only focus on the things that make you that stimulate like a fight or flight response. And that is really this like mindset that we've created through our cultures. But at the essence of it is that your atoms, every single part of your body that you're made up of is absolutely perfect. You have cells dividing in your body right now without you knowing shit about it.
Absolutely. Every single split second. Yeah.
Literally, I'm doing this and just dusting off cells. And as I'm doing this, motherfuckers are going right on back. Like, right on back.
At a microscopic level, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that sounds like a real perfect machine, if you ask me. Like it's doing stuff without my comprehension. And it works.
Yeah.
So therefore, if I am like phenomenal from the core, like when I studied the human body and learned this stuff, I was like, what the fuck is going on in our human body? Like, how do you even know all this? And how do we even, like, we still learning? And I'm like, there's more information. Damn, son, like, the fuck? What are we? And so what you see is that whenever you get to the very small micros, that you're absolutely perfect. So how does that perfection within the depths of me change the whole of me? It don't make sense. I'm smart. And that's common sense shit. That's just common as motherfucker. Like you have a strong foundation, then the house is gonna be strong. But you have a weak ass foundation, then the house is gonna crumble.
It's gonna crumble. I did want to ask you, I watched a video in regards to the ego, and you know, y'all, he fucked me up with a lot of them words. He was over there just getting, so I had to just sit with it. And I really feel like that kind of goes back to what you were saying about the ego and things. The old version of what we thought masculinity was that person that would check worthiness from that place and see everything as a flaw. But the new age would see that as potential to build as well all of the flaws. And I think that video is still confusing as fuck, but it was just a lot of deep conversation that, you know, I would have to study him a little bit more to get his flow and his words. But I did understand the overall message. But bro, that was a message that, you know, it's crazy that stuff like that won't resonate with a large group of people. And it'll be those, like, I love waking up to E.T., Eric Thomas, and Abraham Hicks. I love things like that. But it's thousands of views as it is. That's still not the majority of the population. And it's so funny that this information a small group of people have, but when you tap into it, it's like literally unlimited outlets of success that can come to you and not only feed all of the manhood that you are, but also push you to really experience what life is. But motherfuckers be so caught up in their feelings and their emotions that they don't want to push past and be open to receive what's next in their lives and in their spectrum. So it's just so important, man, that you keep talking about this, because this is like, I mean, for me, I'm just grateful that somebody outside of me and my homie talk about it. You know what I mean? And it's on a big platform, and you know, it just feels like something that I'm like, dang, man, this is the convo of the day. You know, this is the thought of the day, and it's in real time. So that's the beautiful part too.
Exactly. But with that, my brother, I am going to we're going to offer the other brother space. We had somebody. Let me just check in the chat. We got Buddha coming on, but I am so grateful to have you pop on with me. It is a pleasure to actually get to know you vocally versus this whole fucking screen shit. But yes, from the moment we met, definitely brother, and definitely support, and anything you ever need, you know, it is all love. And I want you to just know that the conversation is happening. You're in the right place. If you were not aligned with this idea, you would have never shown up. And so
Absolutely.
it's showing up in your life because just like Abraham says, you created the vortex and now you just attract it to you.
Come on, man. Literally. And if anybody's on here, the one thing that changed my life was The Secret. The Secret changes your life. It opens your, it's simple. It's easy.
Real simple.
It's stupid simple. If you are still enough and open enough to receive, you'll get that aha moment. All right, bro.
Well, yeah, man. It was a pleasure, Donut. Be well, man. All right. Yeah, I like this idea. This is fun. I see my sun is going down and I'm losing a little bit of light. But we're going to bring one more brother in before we end the session. I wanted to give some time to offer this young brother space. He was actually the guy that we were talking about with the pieces earlier. So whenever you guys are ready, jump on in. We're going to get back into this conversation. Buddha, where you at where it's nighttime?
New Orleans. I don't know.
New Orleans.
That's better.
Oh, that's right. I knew you were in New Orleans, but for some reason I'm like, it should not be night there. We're on the same plane. Yeah. But you're a little bit in front of me. But how you doing, brother? What's going on?
I'm good, man. Just kind of getting in from walking around the French Quarter.
Nice.
Just settling down.
Yeah, man. So I don't know if you caught any of the first part of the conversation, but we were really discussing this fact of why we are worthy, right? Mm-hmm. Why you are worthy. And I broke it down to this. Based on the things that we've been taught in our majority cultures is that we are sinners and imperfect because we're human, but we're also made in the image of God. So that right there was confusing to me. I was like, I don't get it. Like, how am I fucked up? But yeah, perfect. Like, makes no sense. And then I spoke about how, understanding how the atoms work, right? We're made of nothing but atoms. And the atoms are actually perfect and balanced. So if my atoms that make up my entire being are perfect and in balance, why am I to believe that I am imperfect and a sinner and limited and, ain't shit is the other term we used. And so it didn't make sense to me. I'm curious to hear your perspective, but also the question of how does this relate to you in your particular manhood right now and where you are in your life?
When it comes to just the question of why are you worthy, it's kind of like, is that even a question? Because, we're all here. We all have a purpose, even down to ourselves. They have a purpose, to make us function as human beings, So I just think, like you said.
Can you just repeat that really quick for the people? That was quite amazing. The cells do what? They have a what?
They have a purpose, to help us function as humans.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So, but it's just, it's kind of like what you said, it's kind of like what you said with just we're told one thing. We're told that, if we do certain things, we're sinners or this is bad or whatever. And I'm really like going real deep into language, and I found that most of our language, most of what we communicate even to ourselves is just mainly negative, which will bring up the question like, am I even worthy? But even though we hear these things and we're programmed to feel these negative emotions and go through hard times, and it'll make us feel that we're not worthy. It's all part of finding your purpose, And so when you ask about me, for me, it wasn't until about a few years ago that I realized like I kind of didn't know where I was going, and I kind of had that feeling like, am I even worthy of or do I even have a purpose, and so like I just started like really kind of finding myself, spiritually, metaphysics, with metaphysics and stuff like that, and just learning certain things and realizing like my purpose is actually helping people. My purpose is, being creative, started doing the crystals, like that's really everyone's purpose is to create, like you said, and we're made in the image of God, and God created, So why,
There you go.
that's our purpose,
Exactly.
is to create,
Exactly.
no matter what
Yep.
you're doing, whether it's in, art or finance or, just many different things. Like it's still part of creating different things.
That's amazing. You know what? I'm glad that Buddha came on in the time he came on, because that is literally the perfect way to end. Because everything he just shared is not only something that he lives, because I see him doing this, but also you can understand how it shifts people's perspective. And whenever you have conversations with people who have allowed themselves to understand the idea, like what Buddha said, like when you really think about the thoughts we have, like they're really fucked up and they don't support us, right? So excuse me. So with that stated, I'm just grateful that you even are in this position in your life as a brother who is leading the way to not only show up in empathetic and calm and peaceful manners, but also to, like the creative aspect. We just have to understand that's a feminine aspect, people. Like that's a feminine aspect. And for us to be able to tap more and more into our feminine brain, this side of your brain, the right side, then it just allows you to be a holy man. And that's actually why this whole thing was called Holy Men, using both sides of your brain to make you whole. That's literally the point. And what Buddha just said was amazing, dropping gems on creativity. And it is that important. And just like Buddha said, it is your purpose to create. It will drive the entire world to change. If you did the thing that made you wake up, the thing that you are passionate about, the thing that makes you feel good, and you find a way to monetize that shit. And then there's many ways to create, right? You can't just limit yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to say that, Buddha, like, I'm taking some gems away from what you said, because even for myself, keeping in the mindset of the creator, it's sometimes hard to keep ourselves in that mind because we have so many things to worry about. We're both dads. So having something to worry about, like feeding our kids, is huge.
Right.
And we want to make sure that we do that, because that goes back into the role of the masculine, being that provider, being the person that's the support system, Jesus. And then also being the monetary provider, right? The monetary system that allows this ecosystem to work. And so it's a lot, but if we can all find a way to stay creative, create, build, love, then we will change. I had a friend, I want to know what you think about this, Buddha, because this blew my mind. But she says to me, we were camping. She says, everybody is like a piece of a puzzle. So everybody comes to the earth with a little piece of puzzle. And that piece is everything that they do creatively, the things that they know, the things that they love. And we're all just taking our piece and just putting it right on the puzzle. And we're making a grand picture. And I was like, yo, that shit was so simply put. That's amazing. That's crazy. What you think about that?
No, that's funny. I was actually talking about the same thing with my friend like last week. And I was just kind of explaining to him, like, like we're all part of, God's source, whatever you want to call it. And so, while we might think that, our lives are different, or, we just have different purposes, and don't see the whole picture, it's really what we're doing is we are sending all of this information that we're seeing back to source, so that it can experience it itself, and that's kind of what I was
Yep.
explaining to him, because he kind of we were kind of just talking about timelines and stuff like that, and that's kind of like just my explanation to him, that everybody's timeline is different, but yet it's still part of a whole.
Yep. Exactly. And it still makes up the completeness of the species in our experience. And me and you can talk about this all day, but there may be some people out there who may not understand the esoteric. And so bringing that up, I don't want to really dive too much into it. But I wanted to just say that, like, us being as a whole, like this whole experience is for a reason. It's for a purpose, just like Buddha said. He said every cell in your body that makes up your skin has a purpose. And their purpose is to keep you alive and to experience humanness. But what he really said is that each of those cells have consciousness, just like you have consciousness. And if you think about it, the body of the humans, we are born and then we die. We are born and then we die. What does a cell do? It's born, then it dies. They're born, then they die. So in the figure of it all, when you really think about it, we are kind of like the cells of the earth, right? And so understanding that once more just points more to why you are worthy, why you matter, and why you are an important piece of the puzzle for this entire shit. But they got us trapped, people. We got to get out of the mind of thinking like shit, like Buddha said. We think too many negative thoughts, and we got to get into the mind of I can, I will, and I am. And when you do that, you'll start to manipulate the atoms that are around you, because if you are made from atoms, then you clearly can manipulate those shits. But with that said, this has been great, man. I just wanted to end on two things. For one, I wanted to thank Buddha for coming on. I wanted to thank Omari, Darnell, all of you for coming on. Bless. I wanted to thank everybody out there. Pook Hustle, I feel you. That's my man. He actually is an amazing artist. If you want to check his stuff, he has some great music. Pook Hustle. Buddha, the pendant. Can we get a close up of that and let people see what that is and like how they can purchase one of these amazing things? Like, I was trying to have mine on screen. Nice. Now, what is that?
That's
You mind telling
labradorite.
the people? Nice. It has a little glimmer to it.
Yeah,
No, it's fine. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I like this one a lot because this is one of my favorite stones, because trying to get it so you can kind of see like the flash that it has. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know the properties?
Oh yeah, this one, the main thing is like for intuition. So I usually always have this as like my favorite piece, so I always have this one on, and it just kind of helps guide me when there's like, just some split decisions to make. And you don't even really. The funny thing is you don't really even notice, the energy that comes from these things. But when you go back and you think about what you were wearing that day, and maybe something that you went through, you kind of realize like, okay, that energy actually helped me with whatever experience that was.
Exactly. And so, it's, and it goes back to those atoms too, right? They're made of atoms. Atoms are alive. We got to stop fronting. But with that said, man, it was such a pleasure to do this. I'm glad that this interaction actually worked out a lot smoother. I mean, maybe I'm going to get back and Tyler and Manny. He'd be like, it was hell. But for me, it seemed to work very smooth. I really enjoyed having people on as guests. Next week, we're going to continue the same flow. We're going to bring people on. We're going to have you on as a guest. But before we do that, Buddha, I'd just like to thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
I like you.
Thanks for having me.
And where can people find your stones?
So you can either follow me on Instagram. I'm posting on there. I have two pages. I have my personal page is buddha.aq, and then I have my my actual page for the raps. It's Real Raps EV, so that's REALWRAPS EV. And then the link is in the bio. Find anyone that you want to purchase, the link is in the bio.
There you go. With that said, brother, thank you again. You be well. I will speak to you soon.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Man, I'm really liking this flow. Frank Minna, hey! Man, but we about to get up out of here. I am so glad that this worked out the way it did. I am losing my sunlight. I forgot to turn on all my lights, apparently. That sun was blasting, so I didn't even need it. But I'd like to thank everybody that joined us today, everybody who are part of this conversation, everybody in the chat from both platforms, Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for joining us and spending time with us. Thank you for the people that jumped on, Omari, Darnell, Buddha. We really do appreciate you. Without you, this is not possible, because what it comes down to is we are a community. we do need to speak about these things. And some of these concepts just kind of need to be thrown out there, man, just to see how people respond and digest, because you're worthy. Because you're worthy. And we got to stop thinking that we ain't, right? But with that said, we're going to also invite women to come along, because what's wrong with women coming on and having the conversation? I know it's a holy men mastermind conversation, but we want to allow all people to speak their truth and to join in on the combo. What else is next? Oh, lastly, next Wednesday, obviously, we're going to be continuing season episode 3. It's going to be fun. We're going to talk about a little bit of different things, but you'll see the Instagram on that. But we're also going to be doing the workshop. The workshop is coming in 2 weeks. We're going to start putting out some promo material this coming weekend to really get you guys all signed up for that. And it will be a paid workshop. It will cost $30 to join the workshop. And this workshop is going to consist of literally learning about yourself. We're going to talk about the atoms in you. We're going to talk about what they are, how they work. We're going to talk about the aspect of you are a magnet, you are vibrating. And then we're going to give practical tools on how you could actually hone your own vibration and then start to manifest your own self. But what it really comes down to in this workshop, you will have to really make a commitment to dedicate this time to yourself, because it is learning more about you. It is going to be a platform where you're going to learn about yourself in a way that you may have not seen before, which also means that we may have to touch on some emotions that are stagnant. So with that said, we're looking forward to it. Look out for the link so you can RSVP and get your spot. With that, I want to thank Manny. Manny, once again, you be killing it in the background. I hope it wasn't hell for you, because, I mean, it seemed real seamless for me over here. It was quite amazing. So with that said, it was such a pleasure for having all of you join, having all of you on. We'll see you next week. Holy Men Mastermind Connect. For those of you who are men and you want to be a part of Mastermind Connect, you can go to mastermindconnect.com. You can also follow us, send us a DM, IG at Mastermind Connect. Also, Facebook, Mastermind Connect. All right. Peace, guys.